The motocross test on the final day of the NOCO 6 days is something we all look forward to, but with constant rain and some of the toughest conditions of the week, the overall classifications were not decided until the final lap of the day. The circuit today was 1.3 kilometers long, with the Women's World Trophy racing over 6 laps and the Junior and World Trophy classes facing 10 grueling laps of the track. With constant rain throughout, staying mistake-free was the order of the day. Team USA women entered the final day with a lead of just over 3 minutes, which on a dry day is pretty respectable. But in these conditions, there are too many things that can be taken out of your hands. Try telling that to Brandy Richards, though, who took the perfect start and rode an even better race, as one of the Swedes, Linny Åkesson, fell, but they would still go on to claim a bronze medal. A good battle at the start of the race between two riders, the Australian Taylor Jones and the Kiwi of Rachel Archer. One of the Spaniards having a bit of a mistake there as well, that was Badia, but the New Zealander eventually found her way past the Australian, and she would eventually go on to take second place in the race. But the battle, though, didn't really materialise. It was the Australians who were always chasing. More problems there, though, for riders, and in the end, goggles were also an issue, and visibility not at a premium. Your race leaders, though, disappearing. And in the end, it was a win for Brandy Richards, who not only took the race win, but she also ensured USA would take victory. Second for Rachel Archer of New Zealand, and what's been a fantastic debut for her. And coming home in third was the American Rachel Guttish. Absolutely perfect day then for Team USA, on top of the world once again. Of course, Ava Silvestre doing her bit as well. And the celebrations for Team USA started, and I'm sure they will continue long into the night. In the end, it was a fantastic win for Brandy Richards. Rachel Archer coming home second ahead of Guttish, Turner and Danielle McDonald of Australia. Jessica Gardner next, just behind her teammate. But the overall belongs to the United States. Australia second, Sweden, France and Italy. Rounding out your top 5. Onto the podium then, Sweden third overall with Emily Karlsson, Linny Åkesson and Hedvig Malm. Second for the Australians, Jessica Gardner, Taylor Jones and Danielle McDonald. Your winners though, the USA with Brandy Richards, Ava Silvestre and Rachel Guttish. Possibly the tightest fight for the title came in the Junior World Trophy category, with Sweden entering the final motocross test just 1 minute 48 clear of France. Looking at the conditions, the nerves were on high alert, but when Albin Norbin bagged the whole shot, Axel Sem and Max Arlen placed inside the top 10 from the start, this was their race to lose. Grant Davis had a good start for the Americans, but then he would run into trouble on the exit of this turn, and it would be a difficult race for the American. Meanwhile, the Swedes were gaining in strength, and Albin Norbin coming through here, and so too Max Arlen. So Arlen then all of a sudden up into second place on the 164, but then Norbin ran into trouble here when he tried to avoid the Spaniard, and then he went down, and then when he picked himself up, the Australian found himself going around the outside, but it was still a good result for the Swedes. The Italians had problems there as Moratini got stuck in the mud, quite literally, and as the race went on, it was clear that the Swedes were within touching distance of winning this junior title for the first time since 2016. Despite one or two issues though, it was Sweden who did go on to win. France put up a brave fight, but in the end, Sweden were victorious by more than 5 minutes. France took the silver medal, whilst the USA claimed bronze, and when all is said and done, it was the Swedes who had the biggest smiles of the day. The blue and gold celebrated as they won gold, and the painful memories of missing the win in Argentina a year ago were well and truly put to bed today. Albin Norbin winning the race, Kevin Cristino coming home second ahead of Sam Hughes, Max Arlen and Antoine Alex of France. But the overall classification when it mattered, Sweden, world champions once again. France, the United States, Australia and Great Britain round out the top 5. On the podium then, the USA third, France second, but the Swedes, Max Arlen, Albin Norbin and Axel Sem, world champions 2024, winning the NOCO 6 days here in Galicia. In the World Trophy class, France entered the final day with more than 7.5 minutes in their pockets, but with the toughest conditions of the day as the last race of the day, Les Bleus were not going to leave anything to chance. There were problems immediately uphill as the Spanish rider collided with a Czech rider. That was Julio Pando going down through the first turn, but leading the way, it was Steve Holcomb and Josep Garcia. Whilst the two riders did make a few mistakes along the way, including the Spaniard, it would eventually go to Garcia, the win at the end of the race. He picked himself up quickly, didn't lose any time, despite a nervous look over his shoulder. He still had a decent advantage over Holcomb. Holcomb then, he made his mistakes as well, as he was trying to keep the number 73 in his sights. Just arm pump and things like that, just ruining the race for the Brit. The Americans were on form as well. As Holcomb went down, he lost ground. Josh Toth, the American, in a good position before he too made a mistake just the other side of the finish line jump here. He picked himself up, rejoined the race, but what a race it was. Heavy conditions. Johnny Gruar there, the lead American rider in the end, just doing his best to stay up on two wheels. But it was all about the number 73 of Josep Garcia. He opened up a big lead. He was on home soil in front of his home fans, and it was the Spaniard who crossed the line victorious. He won the overall individually, and you can see what it meant to him as he celebrated on the finish line jump and then in amongst the fans and his team immediately. But the bigger picture was that France were victorious overall here, and they will be celebrating into the night. Their last victory was back in 2017 on home soil, but here they do it again, this time in Spain. Celebrations all round. They even had time for a little bit of a mud bath as well, which the fans loved, and the French really got into the spirit of things as soon as they got back into the winner's zone. Take a look then. This is how the race finished, and this is all on combined time, of course. So Samuli Pukahainen leading the way from Josep Garcia, Johnny Gruar, Leo Lequere and Steve Holcomb. But it's the French who are victorious here, ahead of the USA, Spain, Australia and the Czech Republic. And let's hear from our winners, Team France.
I think it was the most difficult race of my life, the last one. The arm pump since the first lap, it was horrible, but finally we win, so perfect.
Onto the podium then, Spain, third overall at home with Josep Garcia, Sergio Navarro, Jomi Betru and Julio Pando. The Americans of Johnny Gruar, Cody Barnes, Josh Toth and Dante Oliveira, but a massive win for Team France. Theo Espinas, Hugo Blanjou, Leo Lequere and Julien Rosali.